Hello there. Right, welcome to 7mm Sidings. This will be video number 70, and those that have seen the last couple of the videos on the Secnic alterations, one thing you will notice is that it's been cut. It was looking a bit of a mess on the other videos, and comments were made, so yeah, so the hair's cut. Let's have a look and see where we are this morning. It's Saturday morning now, so it's dried overnight. Let's just have a look and see where we are, and we can then have a hoover up and go to the next stage. So yeah, the PVA is basically all but dried. Just a couple of small areas over the back where you can see it's still probably a bit moist. That will dry out quite nicely. That's no problem, and then we'll have a fairly decent looking area. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to vacuum up now, but I won't video the vacuuming for the simple reason that you won't hear a thing. All you'll hear is a lot of noise, and we all know what a vacuum sounds like, so we'll leave it at that. So yeah, let's just have a hoover up and then I'll put the camera back on. So before I start the actual hoovering, let me just show you what I do here. It's an old pop sock, and I push that down inside the nozzle of the vacuum, fold it over the end, and then I've got an elastic band, and I just put the elastic band around a few times, and then when I switch it on, that gets sucked into there and emptied back into my pot of spare grasses and general muck, and that can be reused. Right, so there we go, I've hoovered up. Don't know how much we've got. I don't think a great deal came out, to be perfectly honest. Well, it looks okay. So then we just, oh, there's a fair old bit came up. Waste not, want not. I don't like wasting anything, so there we go. So I've now got another load in there, and that's ideal for daubing on places and sprinkling over, even just putting PVA down, sprinkling that over the top. It gives a ground cover, so that's all ready for use again later on. Let's have a look now and see where it's been hoovered, and we can see already that it's looking a lot better. Obviously it's now more patchy, it's not right up to the rails everywhere, and it just needs a bit more now down this centre. We're going to put some brambles down now, and bits of stuff like that, and I'm probably going to put some of the 7mm grass down, because I think it definitely needs some more height as much as anything else. So we'll see now. We're getting there. It's not a quick job, but it's not a slow job, so yeah, we'll have a look at that. Okay, right, I've just put a nail in there. That'll be for the PVA to get a bit of a grip on, and what I'm doing, because we've got that ridge along the back, I need to get rid of that ridge somehow. I'm putting it around the nail, and then I'm going to just do a few areas where I shall make the grass a little bit higher, a little bit down the back there, wipe that off the rail top, and what I want to do is just try and, in this area, I'm going to create the effect of brambles and grass and various bits and pieces. I know we've got a blob coming out the top there, that's better. Yeah, so it's going to be, I showed you yesterday the pot of bits and pieces. It would be that sort of thing as a ground cover, along with longer grass and brambles. So it's going to be a mixture of a lot of different things to try and take away some of the plainness of the area where it's more or less one colour at the moment, but also where I want to try and, as I say, hide this ridge that was along there, and whether that's going to work or not, I don't know. But we've got a bit along the back there where I just want to put in something along there. It's probably going to be the 7mm grass. I loaded my static grass gun with the Woodland Scenic 7mm light grass this time, because I want to get, as I say, some height built up into it. So we're going to give that a try. And yeah, that's coming up nice and high already. Right, I've turned that off now, so I've got medium green underbush here, which is Woodland Scenics again, FC136. Like I've said before, with some of the colours, you buy some of these colours and they're just not right. So again, I can use it as an undercolour, and then I can put other stuff on top of it which will help to disguise this, but also give a bit of depth when I put a lighter colour over the top, so that it doesn't look so in your face as a wrong colour green. Because you can see from that, I mean, greens, it's like if you're doing a painting, even though trees are all different colours, you try and just use one green. The one that was recommended to me by a guy called Charles Evans. He's a brilliant watercolour and acrylic oil painter. Charles Evans Art on YouTube. It's really good. He's got a good sense of humour as well, which is always good when you're watching a video. He says just stick to Hooker's green with painting, and then put other colours with it to lighten it, to darken it, to give it some contrast and that. But what you get is a consistent colour. And then as you can see, that green compared with this green, they look totally naff together. And so sorry about that noise. I'm now adding some underbush, Forest Blend 139 underbush. Now this has got a lot of yellow in it, and as you'll see, again, it's a totally different green, and it's quite a nice green, because although it's dark, it actually goes with this green better than that green goes with this green, if you can see what I mean. And that way you just get different combinations of colours together. But as I say, this brighter green that's over the back here will be partially covered over in a few minutes when I do the next little piece on here. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go back to this, where are we, upside down, light green F51 foliage, and as I say, it comes in a matte, and I hope you can see this, tearing it off from the mat. Just tear it off random style like that, and then just pull it out. The more you pull it out, the further it'll go, but also the more you pull it out, the further you'll see dark areas underneath. So what I'm doing here, I've got a pot of PVA. I'm just wetting that in there a little bit. He says a bit too much, but never mind. And then I'm putting it over that horrible green that we didn't want to see. Now, once the PVA dries, you will see a darker colour underneath, but you won't actually see the colour, because that will tend to hide what colour it is, if you like, for want of a better expression, and it will just make it look like a dark green of the same sort of thing underneath. As you can see, that is see-through. I mean, there's no two ways about it, and that is just giving the effect of various brambles and weeds that have grown up along the centre. Right, I'm going to trickle now just along that back bit a little tiny bit of this is the diluted PVA, 50-50 water PVA. There is a little teeny drop of washing up liquid in there just to help surface tension. And now I'm going back to the blended turf number T49. T49. It's a lovely soft powder, and it's a nice colour. It's a nice colour. A little bit over the top of there, where I'll just put the PVA over. It'll stick to that on top of the bushes as well as going in between them. I'm now going to do the same down this centre area. So not all over, but in areas where I think it might benefit from just a bit more colour in places. Again, bits and pieces that there we go. Look at that. We've even got a bit of a tree-ish thing there. Look at that. That's come from years ago, from a bit of what's that come from? The forest in a box. Again, like I say, I don't throw things away, and that's come from the forest in a box stuff. A bit that's broken off. It's gone into this pot, and here it is today, probably 15-20 years later, and it's being used. So again, just a little bit of that in around to blend it, and there we have it. So stand that up. Let's go on, stay there. That's it. Now what I do want is some more height between the rails. Can't put anything solid there because you've got running gear, couplings, snow plows, that sort of thing. So I'm going to put some 7mm grass in patches down here and along in this area, so that it will just give it a little bit of difference, a little bit of height. I'm not going to do it all over, and it would spoil the effect. But here you've got to make sure you're getting it about central, because if you don't, you're going to end up with it being too near the actual rails themselves. I'll start from down the far end here, and hopefully the camera will pick up enough that you'll see what we're doing. But it's the same old job really, it's just one thing that's important whenever you're doing this is to make sure that your batteries are good in your static gun, and the other thing is to make sure your batteries are good in the camera. I was doing a video for Tribudic, one of my old O-gauge layouts, and that was a Secnic demonstration doing a similar sort of thing, and halfway through the batteries ran out. Likewise when I was doing a backseam painting demo at our club once, which is on YouTube, Andy Peters Model Railways, you'll see the backseam painting demo, and it shows how I do my backseams. So yeah, check out Andy Peters Model Railways YouTube, and you'll see the backseam painting demos. It might help, might give you some ideas, might give you some encouragement to have a go and do something like that. Okay, so I've hoovered up, and you can see now we've got long grass and we've got short grassy areas. So once the PVA has gone clear, that will actually look an awful lot better, and we'll have areas where there's long grass between the tracks, there's short grass between the tracks, there's dark grass there. And I'm going to do some more bits in a moment, but this is where we're up to at the moment. I've just seen an area down the end here. I'm just going to bring the camera right down so we can focus in on that. And it's this area in here alongside the wall. Not totally happy with that. It looks a bit not right. So I'm just taking the PVA out of the pot. Oh, you can see the pot in the camera good. And just dabbing lightly over the top of here, and I'm going to put it just over the top of that bit of wall as well. That can stay in there for a minute. And once again, I'm getting the foliage mat, and if I can find a big enough area, doesn't matter. Right, I'm tearing this off and then teasing it out, opening it out as much as I can, and I'm going to put it right in from the back of there. And there's more coming, don't panic, I haven't run away. You're probably wishing I had. Right, and I'll put that down over like that. Now again, it's covering over the dark that's underneath, but I haven't actually opened that up enough. I'm just opening that a bit more. I was saying earlier, the more you open it, the more you can see the dark through underneath, and I didn't open that quite enough there, so let's just put a bit more on there. And then we've got, so what we've got there then is we've got some brambles then as a bit of ground cover, and we've got that coming up over there. And then from the same pot, I'm just taking a handful of muck out the corner of the pot and just dab some of that on top of the wall there, on top of there, and down into there. Some of that will stick, some of it won't. It doesn't matter, because that will give the effect that I'm looking for of some bits and pieces just growing on there. So I think that corner now looks an awful lot better. It's benefited from that extra little bit of foliage just being put on there. So yeah, pleased with that. So again, more colours, different textures, powder this time rather than the grasses, and we've got more of the effect that I'm looking for. You can still see where the tracks are. It's not completely obliterated, the tracks, but you can see that the sidings are unkept and unloved. So let's have a look from up on top of the road bridge. So looking down from the Mills Lane Bridge, oops, sorry about that, it does look ever so bright on the camera. I've got to say, these LED lights I've got in here, I'm just going to turn this set of lights out for a moment. So this is now with the lights above the layout are turned out, so you've got a better idea of how the colours look a little bit more realistic now without that. And again, like we were saying yesterday and earlier, now there's bits of walling showing through at the back, there's signs where brambles are growing up, the bushes are blending in with the back scene and making the back scene more three-dimensional, because the bushes are giving that effect of having a frontage to them that makes everything else look further away. You can see the lane behind the bushes there, that's still visible, and you can see the fields beyond the lane through the gaps in the trees. Right, one area I did say I wanted to revisit this morning was this area here. I want to put something there to go into that bush, so you've got more of this sort of effect where it loses the harshness of that area. So what we're going to do, just a little bit of PVA just into that corner, and just come up a little tiny bit and out a little bit there. I don't want to lose all the car park, but I need it to be enough to be able to show and go through. I'm putting the dark in there. Now that's the dark green that I don't like a lot of. And then I'm taking now some of the foliage, the light green foliage, and that's going to go over the top of that, well spread out, so the dark will show through it. It'll actually change the tone of the dark once it goes through it, so difficult to explain what I mean, but it won't look quite the same when this the lighter stuff dries, as it were. So that's going on just like that, and that will just blend in there, so that now doesn't look quite so harsh. And then once again I'm back to the old faithful, the T49 blend, a little bit of that around the front there, and dab that into the PVA along the front, and then we've got that corner now sorted a bit more. I think it wants a bit more, I can see where it wants a bit more, so I'm just trying to get the PVA off the brush. It just needs a bit more, just there. And so what I'm doing, again, it's from the old scrap pot, just a bit between my fingers, a bit on there, a little bit, again just pushed into the PVA there, and then I'll use that the blend again, just to put some powder in there. There we go, and that's that corner of the car park now sorted, and benefits from not having such a harsh sort of area there up against that tree. So that's another bit done. I forgot to put the camera back on, but I'm just going to show you what I've started doing here. I found a few more little bits of broken twigs, again from the forest in a box, and what I'm also going to do now is make up a bit of a tree to go along the back. It's just a bit of an old twig I've found. I've got some of that, and then I'm going to put some of this foliage over the top of it, and then hopefully it will form a tree to go back there. So I'm going to try that a second. Again, it looks ever so bright on the camera, but it's really not that bright. So let's see how we get on with that. Right, okay, well what I've done, I've drilled a small hole here for this tree to go into, so I'm just dipping the base into some PVA and then pop that in there. As you can see, there's already some lichen on there. I must have had that for years now. But that's not going to affect it at all. I'm actually going to put a little bit more lichen on, because that will give it a bit of a cover over there. So I need to put something around the base to hold that back a bit in a minute. I'll put something around the bottom there in a minute to push that back a bit more. But what I'm doing now, I've got this foliage. I've teased it out. I'm going to just tease it out a fraction more, because I want a little bit more out around the top. I've just popped it into my PVA pot, and I've put that over the top of there. I'm now going to do a similar thing, if it doesn't fall over beforehand. I'm just going to get a clump and put it in the base of that. Yeah, there we go. Hang on, don't go away. Right, a bit of the horrible colour just around the base of there. That's going to hold it up right, but also what it'll do in a minute is to I'll put some foliage over that and re-change the colour of that a bit more. So what I'm doing now, I'm just teasing out a bit more of this this light foliage, and I'm going to put another bit over there, and then I want a piece over the front because it is showing some of the lichen underneath there, so just want to hide that a little bit. So I'm putting that there. Now I'm hoping that will go back enough against that back scene to actually the loco won't catch on it. That's the hope. It seems to be far enough back. It does seem to be far enough back, and I'm just putting some more now on the top of there, and just building up a bit of height. I don't do trees normally. Kevin Farr, that's on the RM web, he's the master of doing trees, and his are absolutely stunning. I mean, he's got several hundred on his 00 layout, and they are exceptional. But as I say, I'm no master of trees, but maybe that'll just blend in enough to give me my first real tree on the layout, to be honest with you. The layout doesn't need trees, to be fair, but I saw that twig and I thought I can make use of that, so that looks okay at the moment. And I'll just dab some PVA around that base and put a bit more colour over that horrible green that's down there, and it's just a finger full of fudge, and there we go. So that's hidden the base of that now, and that will hold the tree back enough that I think we can get away with that. I'm just going to try my 08 a moment and see how close it is. Oh, look at that, there's plenty of room, so that's okay, that's alright, happy with that. And now I'm going to do some more bits down there. Okay, there we go, so that's it. I've done a couple of bits between filming because I'd actually done the ending and then decided to add a couple more bits. So I'm going to show you what I've done. It's only basically repetitions of what we've had before, but I've added some extra height in along the centre piece here with just a couple of little bits and pieces, and also a bit more ground cover on this bottom part. It looks ever so bright on the video, but it's not really that bright, I can assure you. But then also here I found another old twig, so I put in an extra 2 little trees. They're only small, but all big trees grow from small trees, as they say. PVA is still dripping off of that one, so there we go. But that'll dry fine. Come tomorrow, that will be hopefully about right. So that's where we are. Thank you very much for watching the videos. If you've watched all 3, you've done well. I wouldn't have done. There we go. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed them, and I hope that you found them all to be useful, all to be a little bit light-hearted, a little bit of fun, as well as showing you the materials I use and some of the muck that I get into when I'm actually doing my my Secnics. I do make a bit of a mess. So one thing I will show you that I forgot to show earlier here, when I added the new section in, I didn't bother putting slow motion motors underneath because there was too much timber already underneath the baseboard. So what I've done here, there's actually a Pico above baseboard motor buried under that foliage. The same under this foliage here, there's a Pico motor buried under there. And if I move along to here, we've got a pile of sleepers covering that motor there. They were from a guy on the RM web who came up with the suggestion of the sleepers. So if Barnaby's watching, thank you to you, sir. Nice idea, and it's worked really well. So trees are nowhere near as good as Kevin's, but Kevin Farr, that's on the RM web, his trees are absolutely stunning. As I say, hundreds of trees on his layout, all handmade, and they look absolutely beautiful. I'm no master at that, but we give it a bit of a go, and it's good enough for me for on here. Thank you once again for watching. I hope you've enjoyed these videos, and we'll see you again soon when we're actually running trains. Thank you now. Bye bye.